Hey, I'm Mark Stevens, author of Government Indicted. The website is markstevens.net. The radio show is called The No State Project, twice live most weeks here on my YouTube channel. And you can get the podcast, of course, at markstevens.net. And I got a quick video, I hope, of four success stories that we've had. And most of them were in the month of January 2020. So it's just a matter of not being able to get the video done. But I'm not going to do just the 4 success stories. Just as we talk about on every show, I want to provide context. I don't get accused of misleading people that just because you filed a motion to defend yourself that you're going to be able to get the ticket thrown out. A lot of variables at play I'm not going to cover here, other than you're dealing with a criminal organization. And the facts that support that claim are they are men and women, we can prove it, and they are forcing strangers to give them money. So those facts support the claim that they are criminal. Because if I was to force strangers in my community to give me money, even under the pretense that I was going to do something really good for them, doesn't matter. The force is what counts. So that's the basis, though, is to show that they can't, to attack the foundational claim that they have, which is in the motion. And how I would go into court and defend against these things, I would keep hammering away at the prosecution's burden of proof. And their foundational claim is you're physically in New York, then the laws apply. And that doesn't matter. In fact, some may say, well, so they're only focused on a particular statute. Now, when it comes to personal jurisdiction and doing an investigation, they believe that they have jurisdiction, the government types, that they have jurisdiction over you even when you're not committing a crime. And what is the basis of that? Their claim that the Constitution applies to everybody, this written instrument, and gives them personal jurisdiction over everybody. Whether or not you're accused of a crime or not, they still believe that there's jurisdiction. They're not, okay, so the idea that it's only a particular statute, no. They believe they have jurisdiction every waking moment of your life, whether you are involved in a crime or not. Whether you're being accused of a crime or investigated for a crime, they still believe they have jurisdiction over you. So what I do and been successful in doing, and you go to markstevens.net, you can see all the success stories, including this new one, 4, is to challenge that foundational claim. And that's the basis of what we're going to go through, why I believe these tickets are thrown out. Now, I will preface that it's a very valid reason that we presented a solid, logical defense, effective defense, it's proven, and the prosecution just say, it's too much trouble over here. I'm not gonna waste my time over here. Yeah, that's great. That's a success story. If they just throw their hands up and say, this is too difficult to prosecute, I'll take it. Can we always say it had to do with the merits of the defense? Well, if the defense had no merit, why would they throw their hands up and say, well, it's too much trouble? And none of these are situations where the police officer didn't show up. All 4 of these, as we're going to get to, had to do with the prosecution withdrawn. Let's see, or the judge just flat out dismissed it. Unfortunately, not all of these do they give reasons for it. But we know in all 4 situations, there was a logical, effective defense launched where we were attacking the foundational legal claim against. Okay, so it was that if you're physically in New York, the laws apply, give us jurisdiction over here, right? That's what they tell me. So we're going to go here. She's called the show. This is Stephanie. She's from Long Island. It lives in my hometown over here. You see this? You see what's going on? Yeah, Selden. So great. But head of the Harbor Justice Court. And 2 charges. And yes, they're traffic. I know you can go in there and, it's just traffic. Well, she stood up for herself, and she filed a motion to dismiss and the discovery request, and it was dismissed. You are hereby notified that all the charges pending against you listed above have been dismissed. And so that's really great. And so there's 2 pages to this. We'll show the second page. So very nice. Stephanie in Selden, my hometown. Now we go over to Corning, New York, and we get this document over here. This one I didn't want to release, and for obvious reason that'll be obvious in just a moment. And this is Stephen, got this tossed out. Dear Judge McCarthy, the people have had an opportunity to consider the above referenced charges, we are willing to adjourn the case in contemplation of dismissal for a period of 6 months. So I did not do a video on this because this is July 10th. So 6 months have passed. They have not filed any charges, have been dismissed. So a big congratulations to our friend Stephen in Corning, New York. That's just where these charges were. So that's number 2, New York. That's number 2. So we're getting through these. And here we've got Bexar County, Texas. So let's start. Got this tossed out. It was on motion, and it's traffic. He still could have done some time. These are serious things. You can go to jail for traffic. So now comes the state of Texas, okay, and moves the court to dismiss the above entitled and numbered criminal action for the reason that, and it's checked off any interest of justice, because they could make their case. Now, would they have done this if we didn't file or launch a defense? If Lestat did not defend himself, would they have just on their own done this? I'm banking not. But for the defense, I don't think they would have tossed it out. And so if it was so easy to make their foundational claims, hey, of course the laws apply because you're physically in Texas. Everybody knows this. They would have just done that. If they had a case, they would have prosecuted. So, okay. So big congratulations to Lestat there. And for our last ticket, we're going to go back to New York over here. This is the Yorktown Justice Court. And Art got this tossed out. And again, it's traffic. Pretty serious. It's criminal. This is criminal traffic. 82 and 55. That's criminal. So he defended himself, of course, on the grounds that they're accusing you or accusing him of they're saying that the laws apply and he violated them. And the defense was, you got no evidence for part 1. You have no evidence that just because I'm physically in New York, the laws apply. And look what they did over here. You are hereby notified that this case has been disposed and the charge indicated above has been dismissed. Look at that Photoshop job. Look, that's some high-end Photoshop in there. And that is, of course, his signature. The judge did sign the original, but it is signed by Gary J. Roniolo, who's the town justice there in Yorktown. So big congratulations, of course, to Art for getting that tossed out. And, of course, got to mention the train wreck. And the train wreck was actually reported on the last show. So if you go back and you listen to a number, the show before this video came out, if you listen to Roy, and Roy had called in, Roy from Pennsylvania, that was a train wreck. So he was denied effective cross-examination. So even though the police officer has testified that the laws apply and he violated them, he was not permitted to ask any questions on cross-examination regarding the facts, the police officer's legal claims at the stop that led to the ticket wasn't allowed. So that is an example of a train wreck where you can ask the right questions, but the judge runs interference for the prosecution, steps all over and doesn't allow effective cross-examination. So again, if the question relates to a prior statement made by the police officer, whether on direct examination or at the stop, it is relevant. It's a relevant issue on cross-examination, and for the judge to allow the police officer to make a legal claim on the stand and in prior statements and in a certified ticket, it's kind of on the oath, which is an important thing, for the judge to allow him to make the legal claim, but not allow cross-examination on the facts supporting that legal claim. That is a textbook denial of effective cross-examination. The judge has not jurisdiction. All the discretion he has is to limit questions that are relevant. Okay? If they're not relevant, I won't argue one bit. If there's no relevance, the judge has every damn legal right to not allow the question. But here, the question is clearly relevant. So we have a denial of effective cross-examination. So hopefully, well, if he does appeal that, we'll see. We'll follow that, and he'll report on us on how that goes. So that is the 4 success stories and the 1 train wreck, because we're dealing with men and women who force the community to give the money. These are not honorable people. They are not honest, and it's a criminal organization. Because again, basic principles of logic and morality and ethics that if it's wrong for me to force people to give strangers to give me money, regardless of the pretense that I put up, it's just as wrong for those who call themselves government. Criminal. Okay, my name, so again, going out, we'll sum this up. Appreciate everyone sending me the documents and allowing me to post it. And the redactions are at the, like Stephanie's, it's at their request that I do that. Some, again, like Tate in Wisconsin, fully unredacted. Love that. But if you disagree with anything that I have presented here in this video, then you're more than welcome to call into a live broadcast and present the facts that I got wrong or where my logic was off. I appreciate dissent on the show. So, again, just give us a call. My name is Marc Stevens. The website is markstevens.net.